Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Not So Daily Dosage. I'm bringing this to you, Lateness is Greatness, today because we are on the cusp of making a new signing, the first signing under Todd Boehly's consortium, and it is of course the highly rated, talented player that I know so well, Gabriel Solini from Chicago Fire. I know this guy like the back of my hand. He's an absolute tremendous goalkeeper, standing at 6'4", 18 years old, courted by Real Madrid. And of course, in typical Chelsea style, as revenge for Eden Hazard, as revenge for Courtois, as for revenge for Antonio Rudiger, as revenge for Tchouaméni, we have taken this goalkeeper from them. And that, for me, ladies and gentlemen, is the equalizer, okay? That's the equalizer at £8.5 million. It would seem around 10 million euros. Fabrizio has put it out that Here We Go is coming soon as the deal is set to be wrapped up. And can I just tell you, people, we are in for a treat, okay? Unbelievable goalkeeper. Of course, I've not watched a single minute of him. I've not watched a single minute. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely bluffing with you. But it's an interesting one because, listen, everybody was complaining and saying, yo, where's Chelsea? Get a move on. I need signings. I need the Here We Go. And Chelsea have responded. As Petr Cech plays on that Soccerade pitch, our technical director, he's already pressed the red button. The first signing is on its way, and it looks like it's going to be this guy. Listen, for me, I'm interested to see. It seems like he's going to go back out on loan to Chicago Fire, potentially in the MLS for another couple of seasons. There was report also from Simon Phillips, my good mate Simon Phillips, earlier today, saying that Nathan Baxter from Hull City, who's made around 16 appearances last season for them, is expected to join back with Chelsea and potentially could be the number two, the most likely number two, if Kepa is to be sold. And obviously we've got Bettinelli in goal as well. So a little bit of a change in the goalkeeping department. It's not the first time, we've brought in a goalkeeper from potentially before going to Real Madrid. Kepa was almost on the cusp of going to Real Madrid in January, in the same year of them we purchased him in that summer. So just Chelsea being Chelsea, flexing our muscles, elbows out. And, unfortunately for Real Madrid, they're not going to get this one. So, yeah, that's the second wonder kid to add to the list that have been poached away from you this summer. It's beautiful to equalise here. I feel rejuvenated. This is my Chelsea back, making moves, breaking the market. European football, be very afraid. Be more than you can believe. Be very afraid. So listen, it's going to be interesting with this guy. Let's see how he does. Don't really turn your nose up at it too much. Although if you go on SofaScore in the last couple of games, he's looking pretty dodge. Before that, he had a good patch. And remember when we signed Courtois from Genk, way back when under, Michael and Manalo, no one really knew who he was, and he became a world-class goalkeeper. So like I said, he's extremely tall. I expect his cross-collection then would be pretty strong. So you never know where this could go. It's something that we don't really look at now, and then in a couple of years' time, in the future, people may actually be like, whoa, this guy is actually incredible, and we've just got ourselves a world-class goalkeeper. So this could be some early scouting that's been done. And obviously, if Real Madrid are interested, then there must be something about this kid. But moving on, also, I would like to talk about this player, a certain Declan Rice. That's right, the most polarizing figure in the Chelsea community. I didn't get to speak on this before because obviously you saw that report that came out from Football London, the £75 million potential bid that would open up negotiations for this player. Now, for me, as I've said down below, as you can see, if you want Declan Rice, Chelsea and Tuchel, make a public bid. Make the bid public, because this player clearly wants to join Chelsea. That is just so obvious. You're taking pictures with JT, best friends with Mason, pure propaganda and twerking on socials and on the pitch at Stamford Bridge. Do you know what I'm saying? Make it evidently, abundantly, emphatically clear. Just make it public. And for me, you look at competition-wise, competitive market right now, Tchouaméni goes to Real Madrid for around about 100 million euros, including the add-on. So around about 85 million euros initial fee. That's around 68 million pounds up front and then rising to around 85 million pounds, right? So whatever. Declan Rice could around about go for a similar fee, really. If they're saying starting negotiations at 75 million, you could ideally go with a 68 million pound bid, say up front, initial fee, plus maybe 10 million add-ons as an opening bid. And what you do with that opening bid is you put pressure on not only West Ham to respond, a player that has rejected like a 7-year contract from them also. But also it puts pressure on that player now. He knows that Chelsea's bid and interest is official. It's public. It's there. It's proof in the pudding. Now he can go and potential say to West Ham, I want to leave, similar maybe to what Ben Chilwell did at Leicester. And then now we can potentially get that price knocked down and we can start negotiating. I don't feel like we should have to pay 100 million, which was the original asking price from them maybe a year ago. I don't feel like we should have to absolutely break the bank. Yes, he's going to have the English tax. Yes, he's one of the best up and coming DMs in British football. However, you absolutely can get him still, I think, at a price that is not absurd and crazy. And I think 68 million rising to around about maybe 78 million or 80 or 85 million, depending on add-ons. I think that is kind of what you would expect and where the market is right now for a player like this. And listen, if Tuchel wants him, go and get him. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously for me, my preference and my first choice was Tchouaméni. He's gone to Real Madrid. I don't really feel that there's loads of DMs out on the market that are of this level. There may be cheaper alternatives that could do a job. But if you're looking at in terms of, you know, better than Declan Rice, I do think sometimes people get a little bit too carefree and too happy to just dash any old name out there that really aren't really on his level. And I'm not saying that he's perfect. He's far from it. He's definitely got things in his game to improve. I think if you do sign a player like this, we're going to be better in transition for sure, defensively, because he's got those long legs. He can stride. He can cover ground. He does that for West Ham very much so with Souček. He's obviously a very good carrier of the ball. He's bringing you height, physicality, leadership as well, something that we're going to need with the likes of Azpilicueta moving away, potentially to Barcelona, Jorginho getting into the last year of his contract. We've obviously lost Rudiger. We've lost some experienced players already. So we do need that leadership. We do need more of those players. Obviously, he's captain for West Ham. In terms of the first phase in build-up, that's something that he's going to have to obviously, you know, come accustomed to, the way we play, the way we build up from the back. I do believe that, listen, as much as he definitely needs to learn in this regard, I definitely think he will. And I think when you look at the development over the last couple of years from the player, you can see key strides being made. But I do think it's very imperative to keep the likes of Billy Gilmore, to keep the likes of Mateo Kovacic, who are very good in that first phase, very good in tight spaces, very good press resistance wise, and love to pick up the ball off the defenders. And then maybe a Declan Rice doesn't have to be as involved as he continues to learn that side of the game. But he's very good at switching the ball. He's actually got a decent shot on him as well. And like I said, he's like a pivot DM. I would say he's like a Nemanja Matic in a way. He's a very much a pivot DM, long strides, carries the ball. My only concern has ever been really with this player is that I don't want us to break the bank, because that puts unnecessary pressure on the player. That puts a lot of expectation on the fan base from the player. And even though, listen, he's used to consistently starting, he's obviously not injury prone. He's used to being one of the main men in his team. He is stepping up. We do know that there's, you know, a lot of players that move for a massive price tag and they don't always, you know, flatter immediately on their first, you know, outing in these teams. And I think he could definitely do with not having that ridiculous, unnecessary amount of pressure on him to just change our whole team, because he's not going to do that. I think he'll definitely make a difference. He's going to give us strength and depth in an area where we're definitely weak with injuries and there's injury prone players. But we definitely should not be expecting the world to change with just one player, no matter who it is. So moving on as well, because, you know, this is not the only player that has been reportedly we are in contact with and we are looking at. Koulibaly is another one. So let's talk about him. You know, this is a player now that apparently we've offered a £165,000 contract to, weekly wage, as we maybe take the strategy of dealing with agents and behind the scenes personal terms first before we actually go over an official bid. Understandably so. You don't want to go public and make an official bid and get everybody all excited just for the player to tell you, actually, darling, I don't really want to join you. And that could be the case here because, you know, as I put below the PSG Barcelona transfer triangle, there's a lot of players circulating within these three clubs that not everything is under our control. You know, we obviously would like some of these players, they're quality players, but the players have to make their own decisions at the end of the day. We're seeing a lot of players run to the last year of their contract. Koulibaly is going to 2023. Skriniar is going to 2023. Dembele is obviously running out of contract now. There's a lot of players that are taking their sweet old time to get to the end of their contract so they can get a bigger wage. Now, I think we would be able to offer probably Koulibaly more than what Barcelona are, for the sheer fact that we can see that Barcelona are in transfer financial struggles right now. You know, everybody wants to join them. Koulibaly, Lewandowski, Christensen's gone there, Alonso. But can they afford, but even Azpilicueta, but can they afford to bring in all these players and register them is the question with all of their financial problems. Now, Koulibaly, you know, like I said, a year left. This is a player that represents, for me, good value on the market right now. He's 30 years old. He's at a great age for a centre-back. He replaces that experience that Rudiger is about to leave us with. Him and Skriniar, for me, are my favourite two out of the options I've seen out there, just because they have that experience. They have that shithousery. They have that old-fashioned type centre-back mannerisms about there where they're really ready to put their body on the line, but then they're also ball-playing centre-backs as well, which we need in a possession-based system. The only question mark that comes with Koulibaly is, can he play in a back three in terms of being on the left-hand side and stepping into midfield, progressing the ball, being that ball carrier that Rudiger was? Now, he's right-footed. We saw Rudiger was right-footed, so that shouldn't be your main concern. But your main concern would be, is he comfortable there? Now, he's played left-side centre-back in a 4 all season for Napoli, so at least if we are formation flexible and we move to a 4, we know Koulibaly slots in there. He takes away that added on extra pressure of Thiago Silva having to play game in, game out, because he can be a leader in the back line alongside a younger Koundé, a younger Trevor Chalobah, a younger Levi Colwill, which is great. Can he play in that left side of a back three? I personally think he can. He's very experienced. He's been around the block for a long time. And we do have, obviously, Levi Colwill coming up. And I think, like I've said before, age range-wise, if you're making a comparison from player to player, Azpilicueta to James, Tammy to Giroud, Jesus to Aguero, Foden to Silva, that, for me, works better. And you've got that leadership and experience there for him to learn from. Skriniar, another player, obviously, like I said, linked with PSG. They've been putting in, you know, a bid or two, but PSG want, also Inter Milan want around £80 million, it would seem. And obviously, he could be involved with a Lukaku swap, although it seems like it could be other players as well. And as we bring Barcelona into this again, Dembele, again, PSG. Dembele is looking at a contract. He's got a contract on the table from PSG. From Barcelona. PSG could give him a contract. We don't know. Obviously, Campos is not so keen. They've sacked Poch. Maybe the new manager will be keen. So again, if we have, which we don't know, if we have put that contract offering for Dembele, he could simply, people just be waiting to see what other offers come in. And that's kind of what Ben Jacobs was telling me on Twitch there in our one-to-one interview, which if you haven't already, please follow on Twitch. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's going to be more interviews, more watch-alongs, more streams on there that you're definitely missing that are not on here. So it's extra content. Definitely give Twitch a follow. Link is in the description. He says that, listen, with a lot of these players, we may not be their first choice. Humbling, not nice to hear, people, but it is the potential, and they could just be waiting for more contract offers. And really, what do you do in that situation? Do Chelsea give up and move on, or do they stick it out and wait to see what happens with some of these players? He also did tell me that 95% Koundé basically is 95% done. A lot of people are giving that kind of percentage as well. These two players were in London to potentially have formal talks as well a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. So, you know, do expect those ones to potentially get wrapped up. Dembele, he gave me a percentage of more 75% to 80%. Chelsea will get that one done. They are favourites, but like I said, not as confident as Koundé. So listen, that's everything, you know, everything kind of rounded up. That's my opinion on everything at the moment that's going on. The last thing I really have to say is, obviously, we've done quite a little bit of Gabriel Jesus and Sterling content. The other thing that was said to me, obviously we spoke to Lewis yesterday. The other thing that was said to me about this situation with Jesus is that Jesus is definitely leaving Manchester City, whereas Sterling is not definitely leaving. It's more, the option is open for him to go, and we'll see what offers come in. Is it worth him leaving? He'll decide, or he'll go into his final year and potentially, even like Lewis said, they may even actually at Man City kind of want him to stay at that right wing position with Mahrez for the service for Haaland and Alvarez. So, but Jesus is definitely leaving. He's getting a Premier League move. He's on the move. Will we go for him? We shall see. But again, there's apparently talks between us and his agent. So there's a lot going on. There's Nathan Baxter. There's our new goalkeeper that is potentially looking like he's going to be on the way. Breaking news at the bottom of your screen. And like I said, there's really the whole spine that is to get sorted. So smash up the icons. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Big up your damn selves. Lord of mercy. In a bit, people. Peace.
Perfect.